How has tourist photography changed over the years? From photo albums shown in private living rooms to the very public and real-time social media sharing, I'd say quite a lot. The advance of digital photography lets us edit our photos, and we've become much more selective about what to share. And perhaps most significantly, our holiday photos are brought into competitive structures, where we want to share nice, interesting, or funny photos so that other people, some of whom we don't even know, will like them. And taking the competition to a whole new level, travel influencers. These Instagramming influencers have mastered the art of tourist photography to a point where they're paid to travel by tourism boards and luxury hotels. Their posts are nothing short of beautiful. Gorgeous landscapes, luxurious spaces, infinity pools, breakfasts eaten in bathrobes. But at the same time, something doesn't feel quite right. Where are the other tourists? How is it always perfect weather? What about the sunburn, sweat, and hideous blisters usually worn by tourists? Most of you know that although these photos look like they're effortless, they actually require a lot of effort. Candid-looking selfies like this are taken with professional cameras set up on tripods, where the person will run into frame and photograph themselves using a remote or self-timer. Photos are always retouched, outfits are planned, rubbish and other tourists are cropped out, and to get that dreamy light, they're up before sunrise almost every morning. The average day for a travel influencer is spent photographing, planning the next shoot, editing, emailing, and Instagramming. Although they do get to stay in beautiful hotels and experience cool things, the trips are usually exhausting. So they're not actually holidaying like the rest of us, and they're not actually Instagramming like the rest of us either. In fact, their photographic practices greatly exceed the intended purpose of Instagram. Travel photos by influencers are framed, selected, and edited to privilege the most aesthetic images, and achieving this quality depends largely on clever tactics and an advanced technological landscape. These images, then, aren't innocent, but caught up in politics in how reality is represented. While we're all guilty of romanticizing reality a bit through our Instagram images, the question becomes one of ethics, in that influencers are being paid to promote certain visualizations of traveling. In defense, many influencers point out that what they post on Instagram is not an accurate representation of their real lives. By mastering the art of touristic Instagramming, they've crafted a career out of it. These people are clever enough to know that if they can create beautiful content and attract a large group of followers, they can convince brands to pay for them to work together. But what, or should I say, who, deems their Instagram practices so beautiful and influential that they can be legitimized into a profession? Influencers can only be influential if they have a large group of people interested in them. This is what makes follower numbers so important. It becomes a kind of enabling currency or a social capital. To attract these followers, influencers need to have appealing content. That's what justifies the investment of camera equipment and the pre-sunrise wake-up calls. There are particular types of images we see recurring across traveller Instagram accounts. Landscapes, sunrises, sunsets, underwater or aerial perspectives, animal encounters, candid walking shot, candid view gazing shot, candid standing pose. You get the idea. Collectively, travel influencers create new standards of how travel photography should look. There's a pressure to produce and reproduce a certain style of photography. Traveling is represented as perfect and lovely and wonderful all the time, and this can be quite deceptive. But these idealizations of traveling are not evilly crafted by influencers to deceive us. Rather, the followers and influencers co-produce these idealizations. By liking certain photos, we encourage the continued production of them. In turn, idealized representations of the tourist and of the self are shared. Our fascination with travel influencers, then, may come down to the fact that we see ourselves in them. Influencers are expected to keep producing certain idealizations of travel through their photographs to ensure they keep their social capital. In other words, influencers have a standard to maintain, based on what followers like. Followers therefore empower, yet also control the influencer. Tourist photography has been made competitive and has been flavoured with widespread idealizations. We see how Instagramming has been professionalized, commercialized, and consequently, the debates about ethics and deception will rage on. As influencer marketing gets more mature, we'll see idealizations of travel photography become even more normalized. What we need to remember is that these influencers are kind of forced to keep taking beautiful photos on their holidays, whereas we don't have that pressure and still have the luxury of actually enjoying our holidays.